Okay, so today we'll look at the digestive system in our module of anatomy and physiology, which is a module in the certificate course in gospel medical evangelism. Okay. So the digestive system is a very interesting and important part of the human organism, in that in order for us to receive or to be what we are today is as a result of what this system in particular is able to do for us. Okay, so remember, we eat and we talk about balanced diet and everything, but what we are trying to feed, in other words, is the basic living unit, okay, or unit of the living organism, which is the cell. And the cell does not eat a fruit. Okay, you not see the cell from the eye eating carrots. Okay, so there has to be a way in which the cell, the particular cell, should eat that particular food. Okay, so it's all from the work of the digestive system. So what is the digestive system? The digestive system is the collective name used to describe the alimentary canal. Okay. Some auxiliary organs and a variety of digestive processes which take place at different levels in the canal to prepare food eaten in the diet for absorption. Okay, so it's important to note that the digestive system does not only comprise of the alimentary canal, it also has some accessory organs. So accessory organs are those organs that are not directly part of the mouth to the anal region, but they support, they're able to access the alimentary canal, okay, or this long tube. Okay, then the digestive system is not only the tube, but also the processes that are involved at different levels of the food chain. Okay, in this case, the ingested food chain to the time when it is absorbed. The digestive system runs from the mouth through to the rectum. Okay, so whatever we eat, like I explained earlier, we must be able to absorb. Right. So there are basically 5 activities, okay, that comprise the digestive system. Okay, so these 5 digestive activities are namely ingestion, okay, which is the process of taking food into the alimentary canal. That's number 1. Number 2, it is propulsion. Okay, this is now the moving of the food that you've taken to the alimentary canal down through the alimentary tract. Then you have the 3rd process, which is digestion. Okay, and digestion happens in 2 basic ways, which is number 1, mechanical. Okay, this is where you break down, okay, the food. Okay, mechanical breakdown through chewing. Okay, or maybe if you blend, normally it's broken down for you. Okay, but mastication is the major mechanical breakdown as the first process of this first part of the 3rd process. Then there's also chemical digestion. Okay, this is where now enzymes, okay, come in, okay, to help with extraction of the nutrients from the particular food. Then after that digestion, we have absorption itself, the major reason why we eat, to get nutrients. Okay, like I explained last time when we were looking at the lymphatic system, okay, there's always a point at which the cells receive food, okay, and that is at the lowest level of the cardiovascular system, okay, which are the capillaries, okay, the blood vessels. Okay, so absorption takes place through the walls of the organs of the alimentary canal into the bloodstream and lymph capillaries for circulation around the body. Then once that happens, remember cells have many processes. When they eat, okay, they excrete, okay. So when the waste is removed, it has to be eliminated from the body. Okay, so elimination is in different ways also, as we already know and practice. Okay, this is the alimentary canal, okay, from the mouth, okay, and terminates at the anus. Okay. The parts of the alimentary canal are the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, small intestine, the rectum, and the anal canal. Let me just show the diagram. Okay, so we're able to see, okay, okay, this is the tongue. Are you able to see my annotations? Okay, so this is the tongue, okay, and this is the trachea, okay. So here you've got the pharynx and the larynx, but for digestion, we use the pharynx. Okay, the larynx works in the respiratory system. Then we have this esophagus, okay, into the stomach. This is the stomach. Okay, you can see it is labeled stomach. Then between this long tube, the esophagus and the stomach, there's what is known as there's a sphincter or a closet, something that closes like a muscle, which is known as, a valve. Yeah. There's a valve, okay, and it's known as the esophageal sphincter. Okay. Then, or the cardiac sphincter. Okay. Then the stomach, then you go into the small intestines, and now you have the large intestines. As you can see, this is the ascending colon. Okay, this is the transverse colon, and this is the descending colon. Okay, and you have the rectum. Okay, so this is basically the structure of the alimentary canal. Okay, so we said digestion does not only take place by chewing, there's also absorption that takes place. And mostly for absorption to take place, we need some ingredients to this sport. Okay, and these ingredients are provided by what are known as the accessory organs. So the accessory organs, they provide various things. Okay, so there are various secretions that are poured out into the alimentary canal, some by the glands in the lining membrane of the organs, e.g. gastric juice, secreted by glands in the lining of the stomach. So there are glands in the lining of the stomach. We've got the alpha cells, okay, that are responsible for that lubrication there. Okay. You also have some delta cells. Okay, so they have different responsibilities. So generally we can say these glands are the ones that secrete the gastric juice. Then we've got some by the glands situated outside the tract. Okay. The latter are accessory organs. So these that are produced outside, okay, which pass through some ducts, okay, into the tract. Okay, so these consist of 3 pairs of salivary glands. You've got the pancreas, the liver, and the biliary tube or tract. Okay, the organs and the glands are linked physiologically as well as anatomically in that digestion and absorption occur in stages. Okay, let me just see if I can show a summary of what really happens. Okay, so different or various nutrients are digested in a unique way. Okay, so from the summary table, we're able to see that carbohydrates, they are first broken down in the mouth. Okay. So in the mouth, we've got the salivary amylase, okay, which works on carbohydrates. In the stomach, you've got the acid, which denatures and stops the action of salivary amylase. Okay, and then you've got the pancreatic amylase, which works on both cooked and uncooked starches. Okay, so making them to disaccharides. Okay, so those can break down further depending on the source that you have, to sucrase, maltase, and lactase. Okay, the enzymes that do that particular job. And eventually carbohydrates are absorbed into the blood capillaries. Okay, so absorption takes place in the small intestine. Okay, I think I should also mention that most of the nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine, with a few exceptions of water, okay, which it is absorbed also in the small intestine, but the remainder of the water is absorbed from the large intestine. Okay, then also some vitamins. We're talking about the water-soluble vitamins. Okay, that's absorbed there. Okay, then in the stomach, we have some bacteria that synthesizes vitamin K in the colon. Okay, and is absorbed from here as well. Okay, so this table summarizes clearly where which digestion takes place and absorption and so on. Okay, so we can do well to follow through carefully. Look at, for example, proteins. Okay, this digestion starts from the stomach, okay, where pepsinogen is converted to pepsin, okay, then breaks down the proteins into polypeptides. As you know, that proteins have got building blocks, which are known as amino acids. Okay. Okay. And eventually, we see that they are absorbed in the small intestines. Okay. The fat also, though the fat, its digestion takes place from the stomach, I mean, from the small intestine, okay, by the bile, which is produced by the liver, okay, which breaks down the fat to bile salts. Okay. Yeah, and then you've got pancreatic lipase also, which breaks it, the fats to fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so all these things, they have a way in which they are absorbed, I mean, digested and absorbed. Okay, so that's the reason why if we're talking about cleanses, if we're talking about gut support in terms of the normal flora and the like, it is to support all these functions. Okay, so remember, when the stomach is not working right, okay, we might also need to check the adrenal glands as well as the thyroid gland. Okay, and all these work hand in hand. Okay, so most illnesses from chronic diseases such as cancer to many modern allergies arise out of gastrointestinal allergies. Okay. So this is one of the most common problems that human beings would face as a result of the integrity of the gastrointestinal tract being compromised. Okay. One survey has shown that the high incidence of asthma among children And no doubt the whole spectrum of allergies is caused by low hydrochloric acid levels, leading to low levels of vitamin B12, B6, and magnesium. Okay, so there are people that have very low hydrochloric acid levels. Okay, and if you have low hydrochloric acid levels, you would have compromised absorption of vitamin B12, B6, and magnesium. Okay, and mostly these become low in people that have low hydrochloric acid. Okay, before I proceed, do we have any question? Anybody with a question or contribution? Okay, we need to note also that if you are a blood group A or B, you may have a tendency toward low hydrochloric acid levels, resulting in poor digestive enzyme activity. Nutrition, working out which foods suit you and can be processed efficiently by your body, is a key factor in the upkeep of your digestive system and balanced health. So it is a very good thing for one to have their blood group checked, at least to know what blood group they belong to. And should you by any good chance happen to be blood group A or B, you should know that if you don't experience low hydrochloric acid levels, sooner or later you would experience those problems. Okay, especially as you become an adolescent, okay, into an adult. Okay, so it's important for one to understand the foods that work best for their digestive system. Yeah, like those who have enough hydrochloric acid. Okay, as a general rule, you should avoid common food intolerances. Okay, vary and rotate foods, and increase fiber intake by eating whole grains, vegetables, and fruit. It may also be necessary to take probiotics occasionally. Okay, but we also need good understanding of the probiotics. But the good part is that you can research and see which ones would best suit your situation. Pineapple, papaya, and apple cider vinegar will help digestion. Okay, so especially those people with low hydrochloric acid, they might need these things. Okay, slippery elm inner bark will soothe and protect if necessary. Okay. There are many other herbs that can stimulate and support digestion in a variety of ways. Not least the common culinary ones such as oregano. Okay, I think oregano is quite common, marjoram as well, coriander, fennel, basil, garlic, and ginger. Okay, peppermint, chamomile flower, teas will be important sometime after you eat to help with digestion. Okay, nothing to feel bad about. This can be controlled. It may even be necessary to avoid herbs that would be too harsh in the stomach for some. Okay, like Kodak, peanut butter. Okay, so the good part is that the stomach doesn't lie. It will generally tell you, okay, if the herbs don't suit you. So you don't have to force yourself. This works for this. When it doesn't work for you, find other herbs that can work for you. Better still, consult knowledgeable gospel order medical missionaries who would have good information about this. Okay, so natural healing, good chewing is very important. Okay. And you can check on how good you are at it by looking at your stools. If you're able to recognize much of your food, then chew more. So if you see your stool and see that you are able to see what you ate in your stool, then you know that your chewing is not good. Okay, and people should understand that there is no blender after the mouth, okay, or any grinder to help to chew. So if the chewing is solely the responsibility of the eater, okay. Even if you are desperately hungry, restrain yourself because your haste may easily backfire. Okay. In the short term, it may produce gas, and in the long term, poor assimilation and ill health, not to mention a backed up bowel, resulting in constipation or diarrhea. So take it slowly and chew. Okay. Bad dental care and mouth problems can hamper your ability to chew well. So go regularly to the dentist, brush your teeth, and take care of your mouth. Mouthwashes containing salt, oak bark, fennel seed, maya leaf are helpful for abscesses, okay, even receding gums and infection. They can be especially effective alongside regular brushing. Okay, so it's very important for people to have good oral hygiene. You know, most people like the morning B12 raw materials that are found in the mouth, but it's very important to keep good hygiene in the mouth. Okay, so this ends the first presentation for this evening. I'd like to call for questions and or contributions. Anyone with a question or contribution?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Somebody who has got very high acidity, how do you, how can you help them? Somebody who has very high acidity, when they take probiotic, I think probiotic has acidity. I mean, has acid, is high in acid. How does, how can you help such a person?
Okay, so basically probiotics, they do not have acid in themselves, but maybe to help someone who has that problem of hyperacidity. Okay, so hyperacidity normally would come as a result of a compromised cells that produce hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Maybe if there's a tumor, that's when it becomes serious. Okay, I'm sure you've also heard of people whose stomachs are able to brew alcohol. Naturally, the body needs a little of alcohol, so to speak, for proper digestion. So the body has an auto brewing system, okay, that produces some sort of alcohol, which helps to keep the stomach in check. Okay, but I'm sure you've heard also of people who produce excessively, okay, that particular alcohol, such that they are drunk. Okay, even before they take any alcohol, they are already drunk. Okay, so there are such conditions which are triggered by other factors. But for hyperacidity, I think as a rule of thumb, most foods that are gentle. They're mild, not very hot, would help to keep the acid in check. And also one would need a lot of foods that would help in the lubrication of the stomach. Because the only danger is a situation where the cells that produce acid, they are producing more, but the cells that are producing the mucus to lubricate the lining of the stomach are less. That becomes a problem. Okay, generally, it would worsen if such a person does not have normal meals. Okay, so digestion for one with low hydrochloric acid and the one with high hydrochloric acid, they differ. So each one has to study themselves to know their eating times so that they are not affected by the hyperacidity. So normally what I would say is that most people that would have excessive acid production beyond normal, it would require further investigation so that a proper plan is made for them. But for those that like that group O, they would need some mild food and also know when to eat. Okay, learning their body type. I don't know if anybody else has something to say on this question, or anybody who has an experience or who has experienced hyperacidity. Well, hello, Sister Lena, was your question answered?
Yes, you have helped a lot. Thank you.
Okay. No, Sister Musi? No, Sister Lena? Okay. I wanted to do an addition. What makes up the people to have high hydrochloric acid? It is few cause or blood type O. Naturally, blood type O, they have high hydrochloric acid. So the thing that they have to be taking is seaweed or kelp. Kelp helps to keep in check of high hydrochloric acid in blood type O. That's what I wanted to add. Okay. So if you're blood type O, you have to always add seaweed or kelp or iodine on your diet. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Keegan.